Hey, it's the Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. This is a bit of a promo that I reached out and contacted Charles Ward of Exist on Kickstarter after I backed his ENI RPG project. ENI is ENI. I've thrown a couple photos in here as I've talked about these things. Now, Charles, I backed him a while back with a Coinsides project, which is just a little coin that you can spin on the table, stop it, and it's in place of dice rolling in some cases. So, and it's a nice little package, so I picked it up. But that's not what we're here about, although Charles has done Kickstarters in the past and fulfilled. What this is, and I'll be showing and kind of even walking through the zine as he's pre-posted. Of course, none of this is final. This is all preview. This is just to kind of get the word out a little bit, so if somebody's interested in this, they can take a look. This is a different take on lighter RPGs, kind of like these OSRs, which is old school Renaissance, where you just jump into the game. It's got an interesting dice system, though, where the 20, 12, 10, 8, 6, and 4-sided die are also your health, and the healthier you are, you can decide if you want to use one of your dice in your pool to beat a challenge. You can roll any die you want. Now, you got to get a 4 or better, so you may not want to roll that 4-sided die. You may want to roll the 20-sided, but once you roll it, it's out until you rest. Now, I'm going to go through and look at these panels so that you can see them. I'm going to throw them up in place of my face. And we'll just go over these little screens. Nothing here is final. Again, this is all preview, and I'm just helping to get the word out. And Charles, he's very busy right now, but hopefully he'll be able to come on, and we'll even do a little live interview on the show. And he can explain from his point of view of what he's doing. So you can see this nice, clean, black and white design with the ENI against pronounced ENI, like any RPG. I'm not going to read word for word, but I will read this open for you as you can read as well. It's ENI RPG. ENI is a simple framework for any ANY kind of role-playing game. In most RPGs, you and possibly some friends create and direct the main protagonist through a story that you weave as you play. It's like being the lead role in a well-known movie for which nobody got a script. Now, to go through and describe basic RPGs, but ENI is also a rules light and easy to learn with just a few dice, simple rules, meaningful choices. I'm going to scroll on to, we've got a little summary here. So this is where you can see the different shapes of dice and prepare at least one D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20 per personal character, your PC. I always call it player character, but there we go. To succeed at a challenge, the value of the die rolled must be 4 or higher. So I've already explained this, and then you use your die as you go. And as you spend them, of course, you've got less and less options. And if you really need to pass something, surely you're going to want to use a 20-sided die if you have it. Your playthrough and your exploration and your creative ability are more important than the crunchiness, obviously, of the game. So it's more about the developing of your narrative and your depth inside the game than it is about necessarily crunchy, thick rules. You can see the setup here, which is what I'm kind of talking about with to enjoy your game, you will need imagination, courage, and courtesy. He then goes through, Charles talks about how instead of calling them NPCs, non-player characters, and here they're called other characters, OCs. These could be companions that are with you, pets that are with you, bad people that you're fighting against. They're called OCs. So just to keep that straight, if I throw out an OC, same as an NPC. Talks about recovery, which is resting, long rests in order to get your dice back, short rests to get a D4 back, and that your PC's dice also represent their health. When your PC is injured, cursed, becomes ill, you must spend any one of their available dice. So you'll end up kind of sliding it off to the side. If they have no die to spend, your PC is knocked out and needs help. If a PC dies or leaves, you simply create, that's my word, sorry, a new PC and rejoin the game at appropriate time. Again, it's on this idea of a lighter entry point. It's real quick. You've just got a new PC in your back end, but you can see you've got to shepherd your dice as you go. Now, I'm not sure exactly how all that's going to work. How tense is that going to be? But a nice thing with some of these lighter OSR type games is that oftentimes you're not wanting to fight everything you run into. You may simply want to run away. And how does the story work around that? Well, that's ultimately up to you. Your teamwork is really pushed front and center here. You're working together, and you can even pledge dice into other people's actions. You can also see if you have a great success, which is rolling the highest number possible on whatever the die you roll is. So a 20-sided die would be a 20. You then look at the chart, you're going to receive something. So you can see if you've got a 6 on a 6-sided die, you're just going to become deadly. And then it talks down there a little bit that 1 to 6 lets you add a D4 to a relevant challenge roll and lasts until you rest. So that's interesting. It's almost like you're amped up. You get an extra little D4 is the way I'm reading this. And as long as you haven't rested, if I go to try something with like an extra exertion, I get to roll this extra D4 with my normal roll. Interesting concept. Then we have some simple charts and ideas, so you can roll on these charts just to come up with names and appearances and items, and all this is done to jump you into games and get you moving through these games quickly. I love these kind of charts and tables. You roll on it, you factually, kind of logically put whatever the result is into the world that you are creating jointly or soloy if you're playing solo, and then you roll with it, you move with it, you push through with it. And then we have the closing page, again, simply 16 pages of ENI designed in Japan by Charles Ward from Exist Games, and you can read the rest. This is, again, just a quick little video where I wanted to get the word out. I did talk to Charles Ward and say, do you mind if I do a little promo? That I like the work he's doing. And I wanted to say that Kickstarter, although it's used for all manner of projects and anybody can use it in whatever way they want, I really love when these indie type games are done on Kickstarter, and he's already reached his stretch goal, which was a very modest dollar amount. I can't even remember how much. I don't know, maybe $75. He's reached and exceeded it. So this game, ENI, will be made, but I wanted to just amplify it a little bit, and maybe someone out there has seen this and is interested, in which case, go look in the description, or just go to Kickstarter and type in ENI, and you should find it. It's up for, again, what I think is about another 22 days, depending on when you watch this video. It's Chief, Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. See you guys later. Little preview of ENI by Charles Ward and Exist Games.